Across the flats, the moon-bathed walls of Mabila stood silent and abandoned in the night. Where the town occupied, it was only by the shadows of the dead, those wraiths who walk in silence, arms raised imploringly to the darkness above. In the soft light, accented by white-rimmed clouds in the east, the town seemed eerily peaceful. The bastions still towered, casting triangular shadows onto the high palisade. Charred plaster added false patterns of darkness to the town's fortifications. Odd, isn't it, how moonlight, still air, and mass death can create the eerie illusion of tranquility? I grunted at the irony. My wife, Pearl Hand, cast a worried look my way. "Are you all right?" I snorted and ignored the pain in my left thigh as I limped across the trampled grass. The occasional corpses we passed had already been rendered to bone by crows, maggots, vultures, and the accursed Kristiano puercos. Rib cages reflected as shell-white lattice. Partially fleshed skulls seemed to stare at us through black hollow pits, now empty of eyes. Sometimes the cold white light gleamed on a bow stave or the polished handle of a forgotten war club. The dead lay everywhere. Are they the lucky ones? De Soto's Kristianos had killed them quickly, lancing many of them in the back, slicing others with sharp yarrow swords. Most had bled out within 100 heartbeats. Others, pierced through the guts, had died more slowly. Put in perspective, they'd watched their world die in mere moments. As a survivor of Mabila for the rest of my life, I'd be a witness to the inevitable. Who am I? My name is Black Shell, of the chief clan of the Hickory Moiety of the Chicaza nation. Once, not so many turnings of the moon past, I would have introduced myself as Akeohusa, an exile dead to my people. And the terrible aftermath of Mabila, concerns as petty as a man's origins, seem disgustingly vain. I paused to ease my smarting leg and stared down at a sprawled corpse. Partially skeletonized, it lay on its back, one arm thrown wide. The forearm consisted of bones exposed, fingers missing. Chewed away, no doubt. "Why are you stopping?" Pearl Hand hissed from behind me. I studied the nameless corpse and wondered who he'd been as a man. Not even a half-moon past, his heart had been beating, blood rushing in his veins. His souls had been full of plans, concerns, courage, and fear. Cocking my head, I searched for any hint of spiritual essence that might cling to his greasy bones, dried gristle, rotting muscle, or leathery tatters of skin. Extending a hand, I tried to feel for the spirit's presence, as if it might have some temperature similar to dying embers. Who was he? I wondered, thinking back to the thousands of excited men who had streamed into Mabila before the battle. They'd come dressed in their best, bearing polished bows, quivers full of brightly feathered arrows, engraved war clubs, and decorated shields. Anticipation had sparkled in their eyes, their supple bodies bursting with life and vigor. They had literally danced as they trained. Their anxious smiles, the echoes of their rising and falling voices, remained so clearly within. Dead. All dead. Looking closer, I could see between the scavenged ribs to the place where a Kristiano lance had been thrust through the man's back. Like so many, he'd been run down from behind by a caballero, skewered, and left bleeding and broken on the field before Mabila. I straightened and turned my attention to the town's high walls. They rose tall, plastered and true. Moonlight buffered the black soot, softened and smoothed the outlines. The smashed main gate gaped dark and foreboding, as spiritually empty as the eye sockets so hollow and black in a dead man's skull. I took a deep breath, aware of the stench, rot and death carried on the cold night wind. What is the price of a world? I shot a glance at Pearl Hand. Her eyes looked like glowing black stones in her perfect triangular face. The moon accented her straight nose, but turned her full lips into a black slash.